Greetings, all you mages out there. Duuz-Diz-Din back again with more Fairy Tale the 100 Years Quest. Last time we saw the stunning conclusion of Natsu and Suzaku's joint attack on the Earth Dragon God Dog Ramag. Was he eliminated entirely? It's hard to tell. He was dead once. How do we know he's truly dead again? Hard for me to say. But the labyrinth that his magic was keeping aloft collapsed. And thanks to the help of the Diablos Guild, all members of Fairy Tale were able to escape to the Diablos Guild building, where they were able to recover as best they could. And it was there two bitter rivals were able to hash things out. And while tensions are still very high, the Diablos Guild, who took to their new leader Celine oddly well, seemed to be in full backing of her wish to create a world without dragons, so that Celine might live as humans do, a simple life. Something that Natsu, while he doesn't feel that all dragons should be eliminated, has a little bit of something to say about that. Will the relations between Fairy Tale and Diablos break down in the end? Or will they be allies to the bitter end, foiling whatever plan Ignia seems to have set in motion? Join me as I find out in this next chapter, won't you? Alright, Fairy Tale 100 Years Quest. What is this? I feel silly now for taking all of that so seriously before. Chapter 119, Hanging Out in the Nude. It's not like my videos do the best anyways. This title will either be a help, or I'll just have the usual views on this video. You decide. But we see the girls of Fairy Tale getting ready to head into, I guess, a hot spring bath or whatever. Lucy and Wendy undressing. Urza, of course, already naked. After the fight comes a nice hot bath. Service. Little bit of that fan service. That cheesecake. Yep, the Diablos Guild does in fact have a hot spring bath. So, yes, cake. Cake for everyone. Lucy, Wendy, and Carla head into the bath. Lucy is amazed, saying, "Wow, amazing." Wendy says, "This guild has a public bath inside?" And Carla simply dismisses it, saying, "Our guild has that and a pool, you know." You see Kyrie already lounging in the bath, saying, "Yo, yesterday's enemies are still today's enemies. But let's kick back and relax anyway." I actually love that. It's like, no, we're still enemies. I still hate you, but, whatever. Lucy nervously says, "I think you got it mixed up, but thanks." No, I think she said exactly what she meant. And we see Urza heading in, and she is just so... It's like she's... Oh, wait, I didn't even realize it. She has her hair back. How? That face. She's delighted to have her hair back. I didn't even think about that. I didn't even notice that in the cover page because it's just like, wait, Misaki cut off Urza's hair. How does... Right, magic. Okay, yeah, magic. It's probably magic. We also see Misaki already in the bath saying, "Oh my, I see your hair grew back quickly." I keep wanting to give her like proper lady inflections. It's like, "Oh my, I see your hair grew back rather quickly." Oh. And Urza's just delighted, saying Lucy has a splendid hairdresser among her friends. Are we going by video game logic where you could just change up your hairstyle like in Pokemon, where it's just like you go to the hairdresser with no hair, shaved head, and come out with just long flowing mane? It's just like, that's not how that works. Misaki just brushes this off, saying they must be an incredible hairdresser if they can grow hair. And Kyrie just snaps, "Yeah, if they existed." I don't actually know how... What does that mean, if they existed? Oh no. It's the pose that Urza has, just letting it all hang out. Gotta love how confident Urza is in her body. Misaki says, "About your hair, I'm sorry for not realizing how important it was to you." And Urza brushes it to the side, saying, "No, it was nothing." Lies. We were in battle, so there's no need to apologize. It was wild though, because it made her look just like when Urza Nightwalker cut off her hair to distinguish her from regular Urza. Misaki gets out of the bath, cheesecake, and says, "Would you let me wash your hair? It's my specialty." Urza says, "Sure." Misaki strikes a pose and, oh, huh, she's using her magic? Oh. She's using her magic to wash Urza's hair. I'd say this is a gross misuse of your abilities, but I mean, she offered, so apparently Misaki just really likes using her abilities like this. And Urza's just sitting back, just enjoying the experience. And Misaki says, "You're young, so you need to keep your skin clean." And as Urza says, "Oh, no, that's... I think Misaki's washing other places, too." And Urza is, I'm not gonna read what she says. And Misaki turns to Lucy and says, "Care to give it a try?" And Lucy just says, "Nah, I'll pass." But because we gotta get a little bit of that skin-on-skin contact, Kyrie comes up behind Lucy and grabs her and gropes her and says, "I'll give you a wash." Lucy shrieks and backs away and says, "I said I'm fine, I can do it myself." Kyrie then just dismisses this and cuts Lucy's bath towel that she was using to hide her body to ribbons. It's like, no, we gotta get that French service in. Of course, Lucy freaks out, but Kyrie says, "Relax, I didn't cut your skin. I'm real good at washing. With dirty skin, I go to the blemish source and cut it," she says with a very deranged look on her face. Of course, Lucy freaks the hell out, and Kyrie's just going to town on Lucy's body. And I guess it's like a weird kind of massage to get at like blemishes and whatever imperfections in the skin. Kyrie's abilities are weird. He's just going to town. And Lucy says, "Oh, wait, it hurts, but..." I guess it's just like a deep tissue massage, essentially. Kyrie then points to Wendy and says, "Hey, flat chest, get over here so I can wash you." And Wendy just ignores her, saying, "It feels good, doesn't it, Carla?" as she relaxes in the bath. And Carla just says, "You're pretending you didn't hear her, aren't you?" That's the best way to go about this. Oh, and there's Celine, looking like she didn't have a massive hole blown through her body. Oh snap, I didn't notice it before, because I was looking at everything else. But she does have a Diablo's Guild mark on her body too, so she's like all in on it. It's still really weird how we just killed the previous leader, and now it's just like, he's gone. We welcome our new sexy dragon lady leader. Of course, Lucy and Urza turn to her and say, like in surprise. And Kyrie's shocked too, saying, "Your wounds are all better?" Celine says, "Don't underestimate a dragon's ability to heal." Wendy's the one who notices, guild mark. And Carla says, "So you really did join Diablos?" And Misaki offers to Celine, "Shall I wash your body?" And Celine says, "If you please, Misaki." And Misaki just, car wash, body car wash, suds everywhere. Oh, Celine is delighted. I'm sorry, I know I'm harping on it, but it's so weird. She just comes, like, there had to have been no real love lost when it came to their previous leader. I still want, because Sazak was the only one who got up in arms about the whole situation, but it's just like, everyone else, it's just like, whatever. That's currently the weirdest thing about them just going with the flow with Celine being there. Like, how long had it been that she had made herself the leader? The girls of Fairy Tail are a bit on guard, though, which is just like, I don't know how to take it, because it's like, I get it, they've been through a lot more shenanigans with Celine than the Diablos Guild, but it's just like, man, they really didn't give a shit about their leader then. Because Kyrie tells all of them who are just completely on guard, "Don't be so on edge," which is rich coming from someone with her abilities. It feels like a pun. And as Celine makes her way into the bath, she says, "I wanted to have a nice leisurely talk with you all, at least one." Urza says, "If it's a talk you want, it doesn't need to be a place like this. Let's all gather in one spot." And as Celine points into the water, she says, "If you mean the gentlemen, they should be able to hear me through my gate." Uh-oh. Are we about to have bath shenanigans? Like, Lucy questions, "Wait, what?" And then the men's bath, we see Natsu and Happy, and Natsu says, "What the? There's a voice coming from the bath." It's Celine's voice. We see Gajiel and Gray. Gajiel says, we're connected by a gate? Gray questions, what the hell is she doing? And while Laxus is scrubbing his body, he's like, what? And why do it when we're all in the bath? Panther Lily says, we don't have to be in a place like this to talk, do we? Like, no, fan service, fan service. Celine says, a place like this is fine. It's important to socialize in the nude, isn't it? Oh my goodness. And Gray, of course Gray would say, well, you put it like that. Gajiel's just like, you're ass naked all year long, aren't you? You don't get a say. But Happy does question, talk about what? Celine says, let me say this first. I do not regret anything I've done, nor do I intend to apologize. Yes, we stand a queen. Urza makes her way into the bath and says, admitting it so soon. Celine simply says, of course, I did what I had to do to survive. Lucy questions, you mean how you ruined Elentir? 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 Is that how you say it? Elentir. Celine says, it wasn't just Elentir. I've distorted more worlds than I can count until now. The more I distort a world, the more I can see its other face. Wendy questions, a world's other face. Celine says, it's the power hidden in that world. And Natsu, hearing the voice coming from the water, just pokes his head in, saying, what power is that? Like, no, Natsu, you don't need to do that, buddy. I think we're about to have shenanigans with what Natsu is doing. Celine says, a weapon for defeating the 5 dragon gods. That's what I've been looking for all along. Lucy questions, and Mimi and the rest supported you too? Celine says, they were nothing more than my troops in Elentir. Incidentally, I used the gate to break them out of prison. Okay, so they weren't in prison for long. They're probably hanging around in the Diablos Guild, or maybe just running around Elentir? Uh-oh. Natsu dove into the bath, and Happy's asking, Natsu, where'd he go? Natsu's too curious for his own good. Anyone who's seen anime knows where this is going. Celine continues, though, saying, ironically, the power I sought was in this world. Urza questions, was it in the labyrinth? Celine says, more precisely, it was the sight dragon's heart sealed within the labyrinth that knew where it was. So the directions were literally in your backyard, more or less. Wendy questions, but the heart was destroyed by the Earth Dragon God, wasn't it? Carla adds, so in the end, the location of that power remains unknown. Lucy questions, but doesn't Mr. Elphinsarah also know where that power is? And Sarah says, unfortunately, I do not. We see him hanging out in the men's bath. Gajiel says, it's the geezer. Panther Lily questions, how'd he get here? While Gray's more concerned with, and aren't you hurt? Elphinsarah's crow companion says, thanks to you all, he is doing quite well. And Happy adds, I guess there's honor in coming to a men's bath safely. I don't feel like I fully understand that. Elphinsarah says to Celine, never did I imagine a time would come where I would speak with one of the 5 dragon gods. Celine says, same here. I never thought I would speak with you either. And Natsu, he is making his way down, and now up as he sees some butts. He sees some butts above him and says, what the? There's a lot of butts up there, Natsu. You need to stop. Elphinsarah says, you haven't forgotten how many innocent people you've killed, have you? While Celine claps back and says the feeling is mutual. How many innocent dragons have you killed? Well, Kiria and Masaki just kind of look away as they have eaten many a dragon. Maybe that's it with the Diablos Guild. They're just happy she didn't exact revenge for all the dragons they've eaten. But Celine says that's no longer an issue. But Gajiel questions, shouldn't the war between humans and dragons have ended 400 years ago? Celine questions, you and I are in the same boat, aren't we, Elphinsarah? But Elphinsarah says, you think I can accept that coming from you? But Celine asks the real question. Then why is it that only humans may kill dragons? I guess it really goes to show that it's not as black and white as you might think. There are those who hunt dragons, so dragons hunt humans. It's a very violent back and forth. There might have been dragons who lived peacefully, never harming a human, who were still potentially hunted down. And it's obvious this is something that a lot of members of the Fairy Tale Guild never really considered with a lot of their encounters with dragons. But the thing is, now that we know how Dragon Slayer Lacrima has been created, and because of the various types of Lacrima that are out there, that means that dragons have been hunted a lot. With the Diablos Guild, dragon eaters, dragons have been hunted a lot. And they are at the point of extinction at this point. To the point where some people don't even believe dragons exist. So that means that multiple dragons have essentially been slaughtered. Hell, we had that whole event during the Grand Magic Games where multiple dragons who were deceased came forward to attack. So it is a very much a kind of us versus them mentality. Either the dragons were going to wipe out humanity, which is why a lot of things came to pass. Hell, that's the whole origin of Zareth. Dragon. Like, a lot of things have been traced back to attacks on dragons, but a lot of dragons have been wiped out, and we don't really know how many of those dragons were innocent. That's something, actually, now that I think about it, I've never really considered the idea of innocent dragons, even though we've known plenty of them. Like Igniel and the dragons that he knew that helped out the Dragon Slayer. Am I for excusing a lot of things that Selene did? No, absolutely not. But there's another side to this that we don't really consider at some time. How much of what Selene has done in the past has been retaliation. And hell, Suzaku killed one of her children. Well, George did, and fed him to Suzaku. A lot of details we know here are all just secondhand information. But while Lucy has a serious face, she then starts to giggle and laugh, which Selene takes offense to, saying, "Tell me, what's so funny, girl?" While Lucy says, it's not like that, I'm sorry. Someone's tickling my feet. And as she tries to, slap at whoever's under her in the water, saying, "Knock it off," up pops Natsu, saying, "It really is connected," with Natsu hoisting Lucy on her shoulders. And of course, some of the girls start freaking out. Wendy cries out. Kyrie says, "You damn pervert." Misaki says, "Such a scoundrel." While Urza, trying to calm the situation down, says, "Well, let's just calm down. Natsu's a friend of mine." All I think Misaki says, "That's not the problem here." But as Natsu gets beaten to hell by Lucy, Selene chuckles a little and says, "Men, women, humans, and dragons have their differences, but at least they're able to talk. Listen to what I'm about to say, Elf and Sarah. It's for your 100-year wish as well." Nice little titty shot to end things out on. What is there to say about all this? War is hell, and conflicts can go on for a long time. So long that some people forget why they're even having that conflict. It's the back and forth of, you killed these people, but the other side has killed these people. They've killed people on both sides. It's essentially, they've been fighting a war that has long since needed to cease. There have been attacks on dragons that long since needed to stop. Dragons have long since needed to stop attacking humans, but whenever it starts to die down, it probably starts back up again. You could say that, dragons attack humans because humans harvest their hearts, essentially, for lacrima. They consume them for power, this, that, and the other. But you could also say, humans do that in retaliation for dragons attacking humans. But, harvesting body parts, come on. But we have seen dragons who delight in eating humans. But we've also seen dragons who have helped humans, raised humans, befriended humans. And it's starting to become clear to me that Selene's whole goal of a world without dragons kind of comes from the fact because so many dragons have suffered. She's just like, we're better off not even existing if this is the fate that awaits us. Better just be without us than have this continue. And honestly, it's from that perspective that I can kind of start to understand maybe now why Diablos has probably gone with the flow of Selene taking over. It's just like, look, she murdered George easily. But the moment you take into effect the fact that, she was getting revenge for the children she had murdered, that George had murdered, the children of hers that George had murdered. It's a situation that is just like, how do you quantify that? And the fact that Selene left it at the end of George and didn't take it out on the others who had eaten who knows how many of her children. It's like, It's like, yeah, you could go after her, try to get revenge, but, I mean, who knows if any of Celine's children will come after you for doing that? Like, do you want to keep perpetuating the cycle, or do you want to just try to squash this beef where you can? It's just not an easy situation, you know? So I turn it over to you. Do you think it's better to just end the dispute now? Try to squash the beef, see what each side want, and just go from there? Or do you think, no, there has to be retribution, there has to be a confrontation, yada yada yada, someone has to pay, Celine's done too much? Do you think ultimately people will side with what Celine has to say? Or will they need to change her way of thinking? Will she be punished in the end? Or do you think she should just continue being the leader of Diablos, keeping them from harming any more dragons? I'm curious where you stand on all of this. Or were you just too distracted by the cheesecake? I wouldn't blame you if you were. But until next time, I've been Duuz-Diz-Din. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss out on the next reaction. And until then, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.